Hey YouTube, I'm back with another simple kind of video. So this video is going to be more like a talking head sort of video without the talking head. Kind of going over the different machines that I have, the different PCs that I use. They all serve different purposes, but they all technically can all do the same sort of workload. It's just some are better than others in certain tasks. So to start off, this machine here that you see, this is the Threadripper build that I did on live stream earlier, about a month ago now. So this one features the 7960X. You can kind of see down there. The system is using 2 GPUs right now, but I might remove the second GPU. You can see in there it has the 3090 Ti Founders Edition. Now you can barely see it, but you see that white light down there? That is the white light from the Radeon RX 7900 XTX. So that is actually the card that I'm actually using as the primary. So all the display cables for the various monitors are all plugged into that. But yeah, this machine is more for workstation use. It's using the LandCool 3. So it's a relatively large mid-size case. So it can fit up to a 420 radiator in the top. Originally I built the system with a 360mm, but I have since switched to air cooling. As you can see in there, I have the Noctua U14 or whatever it's called, U14S, TR5, SP3, cooling the Threadripper. So at first I didn't really like the case, but I think it's grown on me. It's very heavy. So you guys can see I use the Logitech, I think this is the G100 if I'm not mistaken. I forget the model name. But this is basically the Logitech MMO mouse. It's the one that has all the buttons on the side. And then I have a Logitech G910. This is a mechanical keyboard. This features the Roamer G mechanical switches, which are kind of like Cherry MX Brown, but they're a little bit mushier than Cherry MX Brown, for those that are familiar with mechanical keyboards. I got this one on clearance from Best Buy, I think back in 2022 actually, so I had it for about a year and a half. And I like it. I kind of like the Logitech keyboard, the Roamer G switches from Omron. So it's pretty reliable. You guys can see triple monitor setup. And then just to kind of show in here, Threadripper, 24 core, 48 thread. And then you can see the GeForce 3090 Ti and the Radeon RX 7900 XTX. So this machine is used for multi-threaded workloads. So this is primarily used to edit all my videos. I can also do virtualization using Threadripper because it does have a lot of cores, as you can tell, and memory. Currently running 128 gigs of memory in here at 6400 megahertz, just to kind of show that here. You can see under memory, I don't know how well that shows up, 128 at 6400 megahertz. This is using the Gigabyte TRX 50. So on to the next system. Okay, for this next system, those who watch my live streams, this is the machine that I use for live streaming. As you can see, it's got the lights up there, it's got the ring light, and it's got the big camera, the mirrorless camera, the Sony, I think it's the Alpha 5100. I do have a Logitech C920 there as well. But this one is the one that's used for live streaming. So my Thursday weekly streams that my viewers and subscribers tune into every Thursday, this is the machine where I go live from. This one features a 7950X 16 core 32 thread. You can see down here the Fractal Torrent. So very well optimized for air cooling, because I'm a big fan of air cooling. And you can see in there the Noctua NHD15 Chromax, and then we've got the Sapphire Nitro 7900 XTX, as well as an AverMedia 4K 60, or I guess Live Gamer 4K in red, and then underneath it is the Live Gamer HD2. So that's a 1080p 60. So that way I can do PS5 off of the red one, and then PS3 through an HDMI splitter, which is kind of buried under all that, on the other one. So that pretty much covers like any console streaming that I would need to do. So yeah, this system has worked really, really well. I'm a big fan of this case. The power supply does mount at the top though, which is a little bit strange in this day and age. You can see the PlayStation 5 kind of hidden behind the third monitor here. And then there's the PlayStation 3 Slim. I have an external capture card as well, which is the Elgato HD60S. That one could be used for 1080p 60. What I actually use it for is the camera up here. So that one's connected to that external capture card. I prefer to use AverMedia for the actual consoles. So you can see the Sony 27-inch 4K, the M9, InZone M9 is the model number. And then we have two Agon, these are AOC 24, I think AG241QX. You guys can look up what these monitors have spec-wise, but these are 144Hz, 1440p, 24-inch monitors. I like 24-inch because, as you can imagine, I have triple display. So we have 24-inch, 27-inch, and 24-inch. All three of them are 144Hz. So the middle one is IPS. Here we have a Corsair. I think it's a K95, I believe. And then I have another Logitech MMO mouse right there. PS5 controller for the PS5. Another PS5 controller for either like split screen multiplayer or for the PC. The microphone that I'm using is the Elgato Wave 3. It is on the Elgato, what do they call this, low profile mount. So I don't have something that's like arching over and distorting my view of this monitor here. So for those that watch my streams, they know that I tend to use Paint a lot for educational purposes and sometimes the browser. So typically what I do is if I'm streaming a game, the game will be in the center monitor, but I have Paint and the browser on the left monitor. So it's like the cameras are within the view of where I am sitting over here. And I still have that. And then I still have the third monitor available for things like temperature monitoring of the system or whatever, like if I need to have that open, or Discord, or the stream. Sometimes the stream chat gets moved over there, but it's very rare. Usually I have the stream chat here. If I'm using Paint, I'll have the stream chat like right here on the middle monitor. And if I'm playing a game, then the stream chat will be on this monitor. So it's just kind of because the way the text is, it's better to see it on the left here as opposed to having it like somewhere off over here, because you know how YouTube is, the chat is always on the right hand side. So if I put it over here, it's like way further away from my peripheral vision. So that's why I like to have the smallest sized screen at the highest possible resolution. That's why I prefer 24-inch 1440 4K 27-inch. So I have my full field of view without any sort of issues. So that is the stream PC, and then as we move over to the right here, you can see there's another PC, which is, it's more like it's a very similar setup, but whereas this one is using the XFX Tristan, the monitor stand, to hold all three of these monitors. Here I don't have that. So this setup is kind of a more janky setup that I just put together earlier this year for testing GPUs, so I could do reviews on that sort of content or game benchmarks. That is what this machine is for. It actually, you can see, it functions as a full stream PC as well. I mean, it has two of the exact same Agon monitors, so we got two 1440p 144Hz on the left and right. We have a Logitech C920 up here. We do not have the fancy camera like we do over there. That's why I don't consider this the dedicated, this is like a non-professional streamer setup. It's more like an amateur setup. But you can see we have a InnoSyn 4K 27-inch 144 hertz monitor. This one is not as good as the Sony, but it is good enough just to test games and stuff. And you can game on it too. Obviously, you want 44 hertz. Same exact monitor arm, same exact microphone. So I have two Elgato Wave 3s. Another MMO mouse. This is the newer version because you can see the G logo. The keyboard is a Topra based mechanical keyboard, and I think a lot of people are not familiar with what this is. So this is a Japanese mechanical keyboard. Topra is a Japanese company. This one is made by Realforce. These are Topra mechanical switches. So they are kind of like a mix. They're a hybrid between rubber dome and mechanical switch. They actually do have a mechanical switch, but they use like a capacitive surface to register the key strike or the keystroke, and that is what I use on this machine. I do like Topra, but they don't make that many of them. This is extremely rare. This one you can see some of the LEDs are dying off, like the LED on this key, the LEDs on these keys are dying off. So I've had this keyboard for a long time, but I just need a keyboard here that is comparable to what I use on the stream PC. So I'm using the Topra. We have a Xbox One controller, Xbox Series X controller here, and then we've got the ability to do any sort of benchmarking with this PC. So this one, you guys can see, this is the Cooler Master Scout 2. This is almost like a vintage case. At this point, it does feature USB 3 and front audio. You can see in here, this one, because this one is a test bench, I never have the side panel screwed down, so I can just like pull the side panel off real quick. And you can see in there, we have the GeForce RTX 4090 Founders Edition. And then underneath that deep cool is the Ryzen 9 7950X 3D. So it looks, the looks are deceiving on this one. You know, it's got a really old case, but the hardware inside is really, really powerful. I like these old cases. This case also has handles on the top, so it's easy to lift and move around if I need to, like, you know, turn on its side, pull out the GPU, put another GPU in, and that sort of thing, so I can benchmark real quick. So I don't want like a fancy case that's annoying to have to get in and out of if I'm going to be making benchmark videos. So you can see cable management is a mess. That's because I tear things up all the time. I'm considering redoing the networking piece. I might make some video content on that. But yeah, that is the benchmark computer with all of this hardware. On to the final machine. Alright, and then for the final machine, we have the Intel 13900K system. So not to leave Intel out, we've got another triple monitor setup, although this one is on a much smaller desk. So you guys can see I've had to stack two monitors vertical, and then I have the third monitor over there as the primary. And then you can see down here, this is actually my favorite case. This is the Corsair Graphite Series 600T. So this is a very vintage case, just like my Cooler Master. It's got like manual fan controls, which I don't even use. It's got a lot of USB. It even has Firewire. That shows you how vintage this is. But it does have a USB 3 port and like front panel audio, power and reset. So this is, you know, I've got a Blu-ray burner in here that I'm currently not even using. It's not even plugged into the motherboard. But if I needed to use a Blu-ray burner for whatever reason, I have that available. But yeah, this is the Corsair 600T, my favorite case. Still, even after all these modern cases, this is still my favorite one. And then you can see this is the Intel machine. We are using a Dell, I forget what the model number is. This is a 27-inch 4K panel, but it is only 60 hertz. And then over here we've got two 22-inch 1080p. These are 75 hertz AOC gaming monitors. These are like old school first generation FreeSync monitors. These were like the cheapest FreeSync monitors you could get back when FreeSync was new. So 22-inch 1080p. You know, you can see the FreeSync logo up here. They're identical. So you guys can see, I don't have a lot of desk space. A lot of people keep talking about 30-inch, 32-inch. I don't know how they can fit all that stuff unless they have a really large setup. But for me, I'd rather do 27-inch 4K plus extended off of some older screens. So you can see it has a Logitech G410. This is a Romer G-based mechanical keyboard, just like the full-size one that I use with the Threadripper. And then we have another Logitech gaming mouse with the MMO buttons. So the Intel computer originally was where you guys saw the Threadripper PC, but I have since replaced the Intel machine with the Threadripper. So this one is now kind of like a back office machine that just does a bunch of like office tasks. It doesn't really, you don't really game on it, although obviously you can game on it. It is a very good CPU, a little bit power hungry compared to AMD. It is using the Red Devil, we turn it on there, you can see it light up, the Red Devil 7900 XTX graphics card in that Corsair case. So I can game on it. I don't know, let me know if you guys want to see me do like a live stream or something gaming on the Intel based machine with the AMD 7900 XTX Red Devil limited edition. I just realized I have another AverMedia Live Gamer 60 in here that I need to take out and put in one of the other machines. So that's it for the Intel machine. So let's get on to the final machine. Okay, and last but not least, the Linux PC. So this one features the 7800X3D, probably the best value gaming CPU to release in 2023. So this one is using triple 1080p 24-inch Samsung monitors. I don't remember the model number. I think it's right there. It's the S24C450. So it's an old monitor at this point. 24-inch 1080p is not my ideal. I wish these were 22-inch, or it would be awesome if they were 1440p monitors. That would be like my old setup from years ago. But you guys can see here, Logitech keyboard with a Corsair Scimitar, because this is an MMO mouse. We have the Audio Technica headphones, which reminds me, I don't even know where the microphone is. The microphone is detached. I don't know what happened to that. But anyway, I have that there. And then we have a ThinkPad USB-C based docking station, because this setup doubles as kind of a laptop workstation sort of setup. So if I need to put my laptop here, I just move this keyboard out of the way, plug this into the laptop, and then the laptop will gain control of all three of the monitors, and the laptop will use this mouse right here. So this is kind of the last setup, just to kind of show the system itself. So this one is using a really old vintage case. This is probably the oldest case that I have. This is the NZXT Hades. And you guys can see it's got eSATA. That shows how old it is. And it has no USB 3. These are just USB 2. You have onboard audio. And it's one of those cases that has the old door. The plastic door that opens up, revealing the reset button. And you got manual fan controls here. There's a 200mm front intake fan, which is very quiet. Still works very nice to this day, despite how old the case is. I think I got this case in like 2009. That's how old it is. And then the power button is hidden. The power button is actually like integrated into the case. You can see it'll click in there to turn it on. There we go. Press that and it turns on. It does have thermal sensors, but I don't have any of them hooked up to anything. But yeah, that is pretty much the Linux machine. So, and those are all the PCs that I use. Let me know what you guys think of this video. I'd like to know your setup in the comments below, and I will catch you guys in the next one. Thanks.